There are some IPs that get to truly enjoy two lifespans. There was the Stargate movie with James Spader, Kurt Russell, and it was modestly successful. Not a blockbuster by any stretch of the imagination, but it introduces us to this idea of this world of the ancient Egyptians were actually these godlike alien creatures, and this whole mythology of the Stargate transportation system throughout the galaxy. Well, then came an entirely different incarnation of it with the Stargate SG-1 television series with MacGyver. And that was one of those shows that was kind of like Kevin Sorbo's Andromeda. You know, I would just watch it because it was pretty fun to watch. I really liked Stargate. I did. I was not like a major Stargate super fan, but I really enjoyed Stargate. I liked it a lot. I thought Atlantis was okay. I didn't like it nearly as much as SG-1. And then I just kind of found the more they did, the less I started to like it. Well, anyway, you guys might remember that a couple of years ago, they announced that they were bringing Stargate back. Amazon was greenlighting a brand new Stargate series with one of the writers of the original Stargate SG-1 to be the showrunner of it. A lot of people got excited about it. And some people, I remember somebody wrote in live once and said, how come you guys haven't talked about the Stargate thing? I said, well, I'm not sure it's going to happen. I mean, even their announcements of it doesn't sound like it's a sure thing. Well, I said, once something more concrete comes in, we'll discuss it.
They had that Zoom call to announce it.
Yes, that's right.
Which I watched.
And I said, like, I don't know that this doesn't sound really concrete yet to me. Well, according to Variety, the concrete has been dusted. Stargate TV series from Martin Garrow, who was involved in the original Stargate SG-1 series, is no longer moving forward at Amazon. They wrote the following. The new Stargate TV series has been axed at Amazon, Variety has learned exclusively. The show was first announced with a series order in November of 2025. It hailed from writer, executive producer, and showrunner Martin Garrow, I hope I'm saying his last name right, who was a writer on Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis in his early career. Stargate Atlantis, which was my first exposure to one Lobo. That was my first exposure to Jason Momoa. He was in Stargate Atlantis. According to an individual with knowledge of the situation, Amazon's execs were concerned that Garrow's take on the series would not have broad appeal beyond the franchise's already dedicated fan base. That statement, I think, is a loaded one, because it speaks to something about trying to revive IP, whether you're talking about novel IP, comic IP, game IP, old television show IP, what have you. In that, if you're going to create a version of it and adapt it into a film or a new series or whatever for a new audience, there are two trains of thought. One is make it for the people who are already diehard fans. Just write it in a way to just really appease the already existing diehard fans. The problem with that thinking, though, especially if that's a limited demographic, is we don't know that we can be successful on a scale that we would need this to be successful at if all we're doing is aiming to please the already pre-existing fans of the old IP. Not that you should disregard it entirely, of course not, but if that's what we do, we have to be able to make it and reinvigorate it in such a way that it will hopefully be entertaining to the original fans, but also be there and be something to have a wider audience come in as well. And if Amazon looked at it and said, dude, you're just making this too much like SG-1. Now, those words aren't in there. I'm taking the liberty of paraphrasing a bit here. But if they looked at it and said, this is too much SG-1, like you're not adapting this to have a wider reach than that original series did, then I can understand them wanting to pull the plug. But it also raises this question to me. They have not announced whether this was going to be a reboot of Stargate or whether it was going to be yet another continuation in this world. You know, whether we're going to get MacGyver back as the old general, you know, and he's the older general now. Of course, he became the general later in the series anyway, but I mean, now he's the older general and all. Were they going to do that? If so, who are you making this show for? I just don't know. And I know I'm going to get a lot of people angry at me for this, but so be it. I just don't know that Stargate is a name that is instantly going to have heads popping up and going, ooh, a new Stargate thing, other than the diehard fans of the original stuff. But I will say this, Rob. I think the mythology built around Stargate is one of the best in sci-fi in decades. Just the pure root mythology that you could build something insanely great around. So I see the potential there, but it would all depend on what their direction was. Was it rebooting it? Was it giving it a totally new manifestation? Or was it going to be just yet another? Because what was the name of the last one they did? There was the one where they were the ship in space.
There was Infinity. There was Universe.
So I think Stargate Universe is the one that I was thinking about. With the one guy from the Full Monty was one of the stars of it. Anyway, so it would all depend on which direction they were going. But I got to say, if Amazon was concerned that they were just focusing too much on the existing fan base, it was probably the right idea. But I should point out one more thing, Rob. Later in the article, it makes sure to point out that this is not saying that Amazon is getting out of the Stargate game. They still want to develop something from it. It just looks like this iteration isn't going to be it. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Pocket Hose. Guys, I'm excited to tell you about the world's #1 expanding garden hose and their brand new product, the Pocket Hose Ballistic. As you guys can imagine, I'm not exactly gentle with my gear. I drag hoses across concrete over the pool, yank them around corners. I even coil and uncoil them all the time to put them in my camper van when I go out on my movie meetups. And generally speaking, a lot of them don't last. But the Pocket Hose Ballistic has been a totally different story for me. It's incredibly durable, super lightweight, and just makes the whole job easier. One of my favorite things is how simple it is to use. You turn the water on, it expands. Turn it off, it shrinks right back down to pocket size. And it's reinforced with a liquid crystal polymer, the same kind of material used in bulletproof vests. Plus, it comes with the pocket pivot, which gives you 360-degree rotation at the spigot so it moves with you instead of fighting against you. And now, for a limited time, when you purchase a new Pocket Hose Ballistic, you'll get a free 360-degree rotating pocket pivot and a free thumb drive nozzle. Just text Campea to 64,000. That's CAMPEA to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. Text Campea to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. Rob, you read the story. You've been following this. Are you surprised they pulled the plug on it? Good move, bad move, and what happens from here?
Well, I think one of the problems when you're dealing with legacy, I just looked this up, there's 354 episodes of Stargate that are canonical. That's a lot. That's like twice as many Next Generation episodes, and that ran 7 seasons. So you're looking at more than 14 seasons of Stargate. So if you're going to revive Stargate, and I think this is true of a lot of IPs, if they're going to take something and revive it, I think a lot of the time there's 2 schools of thought. You could do something like Battlestar Galactica. There's the original and the new Battlestar Galactica. The new Battlestar Galactica, I would say, is one of the great revivals of all time. And I remember
I think it's the greatest show of all time.
The original Galactica was no great chicks. And what they did was they took the central core ideas that were inherent in Galactica. They kept a lot of the designs and plus them and all that. And they made it much more adult, much more palatable, much more realistic, and they created one of the greatest science fiction shows ever.
You could say it was fracking great.
It was fracking great. And what a great cast. And I think with Stargate, I think that there might have been a desire to have a fealty to the original show, loyalty to how that mythology, and maybe want to continue it. And I think that's fine, but then who are you appealing to? I mean, Stargate's been around for a long time, but you do want to get a new audience. So I bet there was maybe an impasse. To my mind, if you're going to do Stargate and you want to reboot it, like you pointed out, the mythology is great. So you've got
good.
And you can lean back on the mythology there, but you could make a new show, and lean into the mythology, but develop it as something new, because I think you kind of have to. But then you also don't want to be too far away from what Stargate is.
Yeah, you don't want to completely abandon it.
No, and I think that one of the real problems now is that I think that there's never been a time in Hollywood where the decision makers who are actually green lighting things, and I'm not talking about friends of ours that actually green light a script. I'm talking about the idea of moving forward on a project in general. I think the people that are in those positions know less about the things that they're supposed to be greenlighting than ever before. So they're looking at outside elements and going, no, we need to have this, we need that. This is what our data tells us. We have to have all this. You can't just, and a lot of the time, storytelling, you got to go from your gut. And I think that there's corporate interests that are diametrically opposed to storytelling interests. And somewhere in the middle of that is where this probably fell out of favor.
I think I have an idea. Follow me here. Stargate Academy follows a group of spunky young up-and-comers
to be the next generation of Stargate travelers. Yes.
They'll be Stargate Voyagers.
And one of them is the same race as Christopher Judge's Tulok McDuck. I can't remember the character's actual name.
Darkwing Duck, yeah.
Yeah, I call him Tulok McDuck. McDuck. I can't remember. Again, I just can't remember. I just know that Christopher Judge was great in the role. That's all I remember. I love it. Stargate Academy. Make it happen. Anyway, guys, question is for you.
How about Stargate Xanadu and make it a musical?
Stargate Xanadu. What was the Sean Connery one where he was the warrior in just the loincloth?
Oh,
Zardoz.
Yeah.
He plays Zed. Don't you dare besmirch Zardoz.
I'm not besmirching. I'm
Directed by John
Stargate
Borman.
That.
The gun is the thing. He said the penis
Sean
is
Connery,
evil.
who was never that big of a guy. I mean, he was a bigger man, but that big. It wasn't just the loincloth; it was the mustache.
I'm going to dress like him to the next
Played a
Comic-Con.
character named Zed.
I will give you $1,000 if you walk around Comic-Con San Diego.
I shave this and I just grow this out.
Do you know what I actually pitched this idea?
By the way, find a picture of it.
Yeah.
Only slightly tongue in cheek. I said to Steve Asbell, president of 20th Century Studios, because 20th Century released Zardoz, I said you could remake Zardoz with Alex Garland writing and directing.
Here you go. Here's me at the next con.
There he is, baby. Zed.
I might wear that tomorrow at work.
I might wear it on the show tomorrow. God, that is Sean Connery at his finest, ladies. And no, that is not a picture from the original Highlander. Look at that. Look at that loincloth. And you gotta have suspenders. I mean, you can't have a loincloth like that without suspenders.
Those are bandoliers.
What are we
Come on.
doing?
Bullets.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about loincloths? Whatever your thoughts are today, jump down to the comment section below.
These are my suspenders.
I have Zardoz on Blu-ray, John.
Of course you do. And let us know
Walking around the goddamn desert with a six shooter.
your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.